Hello, my name is Aditi, and I'm going to be presenting my work with Josh Peterson and Tom Griffiths. Modern cognitive and neuroscientific modeling often uses CNN representations to model behavior in various tasks. However, CNN representations have thousands of dimensions, which makes them hard to interpret. Is this high dimensional structure fundamental to their success? How many dimensions do we really need? Further, can we interpret these important dimensions and understand what are they encoding? Looking for answers to these questions, we study the use of CNN representations to predict human similarity judgments. In a previous work, Peterson et al. Show that CNN representations of any pair of stimuli can be transformed to accurately predict human similarity judgments. This plot shows the similarity prediction performance of CNN representations when tested on 6 different datasets. To make interpretation more tractable, we develop a model called SIMDR, or Similarity Driven Dimensionality Reduction, which is inspired by Rumelhart and Todd's work. SIMDR uses a bottleneck layer to select a subset of CNN features which are best predictors of similarity judgments. The prediction performance of SIMDR saturates and quickly approaches that of full CNN representations, but this time by using less than 20 features. In other words, few dimensions are sufficient to predict similarity judgment. This happens despite the fact that CNN representations by themselves have a much higher intrinsic dimensionality as captured by principal component analysis. Further, using an unsupervised method like PCA to select CNN features only shows worse performance, necessitating the need for supervised selection of features for predicting similarity judgments, as done by SIMDR. When the low-dimensional bottleneck layer features learned by SIMDR are visualized, we see that most dimensions capture unique concepts. For example, mammals versus non-mammals, and inanimate versus living things. We also observe that more stringent dimension reduction preserves coarse distinctions. For example, two-dimensional representations of animals captures primates versus non-primates categories. But allowing more dimensions in the learned representations leads to finer levels of categorization, like herbs, birds, rodents, etc., in 6-dimensional representations. This motivates a hierarchical organization of concepts in the low-dimensional psychological representations learned by CNNs. Domain-specific SIMDRs, however, do not generalize well when tested on a collection of all datasets, and so we trained a pooled model on all datasets. This model, with its more general set of features, is able to predict certain domains like animals, vehicles, and various well, while other domains require more domain-specific features. Indeed, a canonical correlation analysis between pairs of low-dimensional representations from all domains corroborates our findings that most domains do not share features across each other, but some, like animals, vehicles, and fruits, vegetables, do. To summarize, psychological representations are low-dimensional and can be extracted from CNN features, or alternatively, common metrics like similarity judgments underestimate psychological content. Individual dimensions in the learned representations code for unique concepts, and these extracted representations also show a hierarchical organization of concepts. These learned representations for some domains share features, but most contain domain-specific information. Through this work, we attempt to propose a framework to bridge the interpretation gap between CNNs and psychological representations. Thank you for listening, and do visit our poster session on 31st July between 11 a.m. to 12:40 p.m. EDT.